Good morning, y'all. It is Wednesday, the 27th of December, 2023. And I hope you're having a good week so far. It's the middle of the week already. Christmas is kind of throwing things off. So today's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week already. It's a few more days till the weekend, but then again, I'm also off. If you're watching, please give me a thumbs up, I like, and make a comment. Just want to make sure my microphone is working. Having some issues. My apparently this was not connected somehow to the computer, and it was just doing my computer audio. So I just want to make sure that it is working and that y'all can hear me. Um, anyway, all right. So I'm not getting any comments. I'm not getting likes. Oh, there's a reaction. So apparently I am. I can see the sometimes see the comments live and see the thumbs up live too. All right, so we're going to be reading Luke chapter 2 today. Luke chapter 2. And we're going to be wrapping up on the birth and early childhood of Christ. So, Luke chapter 2 takes place, honestly, between Christ being 1 and 2 years old. And we'll notice that by what the scripture says. Now, it does start out here, Luke chapter 2, verse 1. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there were come wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Now, these wise men were not like magicians, magi. They were just wise men, students of scripture, students of knowledge. And they were somewhere from the east, so Syria to Iraq region somewhere. They're most likely Shemites. Of course, I strongly believe that they're Shemites, descendants of Shem. Verse 2 saying, where is he that was as born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. So these wise men start making a journey as soon as they see the star in the east. And being students of scripture, they would know what to start looking for when the Messiah is coming. Now, so they see the star appear, and there's something special about this star. It's not just an ordinary star. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. They're troubled because the Messiah, the king, is here. He's been born, as scripture foretold. Verse 4, and this is about Herod. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah? For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. So there's prophecy of the birth of Christ and that he was going to be the governor. He was going to be the mighty God, the everlasting Father, wonderful counselor, governor. He's going to be all these things. Verse 7, then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. He wanted to know when exactly they saw it first, because that's going to give him a time frame of where or how old at this point the child is. And we'll see the child, not infant, child here in just a second. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. He didn't say infant, he said young child. Or baby. He didn't say baby, he said young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. Now, this wasn't true. He wasn't going to go worship him. Messiah was here, and the Messiah was going to be the king. That means he would replace Herod. So Herod's not going to go worship him. Herod's an evil king. He's an evil leader. He's not a good leader. Verse 9, and when they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east, went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. Now, again, there's something unique and different about this star. I don't have time to go into all the details of it, but there's something unique and different about this star. This star is not just a star. See, in the Old Testament, they talk about the morning stars would come and appear before God. Those morning stars are angels. Hollywood is in Los Angeles. Los Angeles means city of angels. In Hollywood, we have stars coming out. You following me here? So this is not just an ordinary star that is in this up in the heavens in space. This is something that's lower and it's moving across the sky, and they're following it, and it's lighting their way. It's showing them where the Messiah's at. And it says it came and stood over again where the young child was. Not baby, not infant, not babe, child. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, notice it's now they're coming into a house. So Joseph and Mary are now living in a house in Bethlehem. They're no longer in a barn where Christ was born. They're in a house. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young man, the young child again, with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasure, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. They presented him three gifts. And by the way, the Bible doesn't say there was three wise men. It just says there were three gifts. And we can see now that they weren't there when Christ was born at the nativity scene, at the barn in the manger. They came when he was a young child, and they met him at a house, no longer a barn. So they're living in a dwelling place, a house. Now, here's some things about that gold, silver, and frankincense. Now, if you're a student of the scripture, you'll know this. If you're at a Bible teaching and preaching church, you'll know this. But those gifts, gold, silver, or gold, frankincense, and myrrh, represent things. The gold is for the king, a crown, royalty. The frankincense, that is what the priests in the Old Testament would use to anoint the altar. They would shake an incense burner at the altar. So that's what it represents. And Christ became the sacrificial lamb for us at the altar. So they brought frankincense to them. And myrrh. Myrrh is something very special. Myrrh is a perfume. And that perfume was specifically used to anoint and cover bodies when they're dead, to keep the stink off as they're decaying. It was a herb, it was a perfume. So they brought him gold, representing king and the crown. They brought him frankincense, the altar of incense, the sacrificial lamb, and they brought him myrrh. There's two times in the Bible that Christ was given myrrh. Once at his birth, and once the alabaster box was broken, the perfumes were put on him to anoint his body before he died. But then again after, so really three times. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus took care of his body when he actually died. Three times or two times myrrh was given to him. Three times, one time it was applied directly on him, and that's when he actually died. And being warned of, verse 12, and being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. So they knew now that Herod was not going to come worship him, that he was going to go kill Christ as a young child. And we're going to see that directly here in a second, what they do, what Herod commands to be done. So they left. The other thing about the gold, frankincense, and myrrh, it's very valuable, and it could have been used on his travels to Egypt, which we notice here in a minute. And when they were departed, verse 13, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. So an angel came and warned them, Herod's coming for you, your son. Herod's coming for God's son to destroy him. And he said, go to Egypt. And was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which is spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. Verse 16, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and went forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. So Herod now had given a decree, a command, to go and kill all the children 2 years and under. That's a very evil and vicious king. Verse 17, then was fulfilled which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. That was a prophecy of what Herod was going to do to try to eliminate Jesus Christ. Verse 19 through 23. But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph, saying, or in Egypt, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother and came into the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus did reign in Judea in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go further, or go thither, notwithstanding being warned of God in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of Galilee, and he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. The next appearance of Jesus Christ was when he was 12 years old in the temple. Hope you've learned some things this past week about the birth of Christ and the events, and some little nuggets hidden in there. Well, now we're going to go back and continue in the regular studies, go back into the mysteries as we were doing there in 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Hope you have a good day today. God bless you all, and talk to you tomorrow.